Have you ever wondered, is there more to life than what we have made it to be? Are we living life to its full potential? Shouldn't this be an expectation rather than a dream? At times, our thoughts become our worst enemy from achieving our greatest potential. We have a course which empowers you to succeed in all facets of life, no matter who you are and where you want to be. We have the tools that will help you develop the essential skills to live more this 2021, where we equip you to translate the Quran anywhere. Be coached with the guidance of Allah speaking directly to you. Study with us and experience a family that desires you to succeed. Imagine what you can achieve with Allah by your side.
وفانا بحسنه حيانا نور الهدى وفانا.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear viewers, welcome to Imam's Corner. Inshallah, today in this lesson we are going to study verse number 23 from Surah An-Naba. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Labithina fiha ahqaba. They will abide therein for ages. My noble viewers, life after death is a life that can not be measured. Indeed, in this world, a person comes with limited time. Some people live for 60 years, some people live for 70 years. Nabi Kareem Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "A'maru ummati bayna sitteen wa sab'een." That the average age of my ummati will be between 60 and 70. Indeed, people, they pass away before 60. And there are people that live beyond 70. But the average age is between 60 and 70. But in essence, each person has limited time. But once a person moves from this domain and makes it into the next, may it be the waiting room known as alim-e barzakh, may it be alim-e akhirah, or may it be alim-e jannah, the time there is not measurable. There is no end to time. So if I could say the following, I will not be incorrect. That each human being has a starting point. He was created. So we came into existence from non-existence. But we don't have an end. Our soul will keep moving on. It will never die. Indeed, the vehicle that carries this soul will change. So this is the vehicle in this world. The vehicle will change in the grave. The vehicle will change on the day of judgment. But the soul has been created, and this soul will not die. In the previous set of verses, Allah Almighty made mention of rebellious people. And at the same time, Allah Almighty made mention that there is a torture cell known as Nar, An-Nar, or known as Jahannam, that has been created, designed for them. Now in this verse, Allah Almighty is saying, لَابِثِينَ فِيهَا أَحْقَابًا. They will remain in that Jahannam for a very long time. When I was studying this verse a few days ago, immediately after that I received a call. And I received a call of a brother that came back from overseas, whose father passed away. Allah give his father Jannatul Firdaus. And he said that I need to go into quarantine for 14 days. And after exiting the quarantine, he said that it was very, very hard. I said, did you have food on the table? He said, yes, I had food on the table. I said, that did you have a bed? He said, yes, I had a bed. They gave us internet access. So all the necessities were provided in that one room. And there was no pain in the room. So there was no torturing in the room. But he said it was so hard. I was counting every second that was ticking by. And the thing that came to mind is that indeed the environment is providing all necessities. And a person is not there as a punishment. And a person knows that he's going to exit after 14 days. But knowing that I cannot leave in the next 14 days is a punishment in itself. It plays with the mind. If Allah created an abode that provided necessities, but at the same time Allah Almighty says you cannot leave this place. You can't meet anyone. You can't meet anyone. No one can come and meet you. You will have your meal alone. You will sit alone. There's no torture, there's no pain in this place, but this is the life that you're going to live, and it is unmeasurable. It is forever. That will be a punishment in itself. Let alone a person knowing that he's going to stay in a place where he is going to be punished. The punishment is going to intensify, and the time is unmeasurable. So this is like adab upon adab, punishment upon punishment. The punishment of the body and the punishment and the pain of the intellect. It's going to play with the mind as well. The word used in this verse is ahqaba. And ahqaba is the plural of hiqba. The plural of hiqba. Now, in essence, hiqba means dahran tawila. A very long time. A very long time. Hazrat Ali radiyallahu ta'ala an, he used to say hiqba, that is the plural, that is the singular of ahqab. He says hiqba is equivalent to 80 years. 80 years. And 1 year is made up of 12 months. And each month is made up of 30 days. And he said 1 day is equivalent to 1,000 days of this world. So he said in total, hiqba is 20,88,000 years. Allahu Akbar. And Allah Almighty says, ahqaba. He will remain in Jahannam many hiqbs. Many hiqbas. Like I made mention in the start, unmeasurable. And that's why Suddi reports from Murrah bin Abdullah that if the inmates of hell were told whilst they are in Jahannam that the world is filled with pebbles, and each pebble, each stone represents 1 year. And after the pebbles finish, you are allowed to exit An-Nar, Jahannam. This information will allow them to be satisfied. They will be happy upon that. Because indeed it will be a very long time for the pebbles to finish. But that is measurable, that is finite. And that's why Imam Ghazali rahimahullah, one of the great philosophers of Islam, he gives a beautiful example so we can understand the importance, the significance of time in the next domain. And he says that if the entire world was filled with grain, and Allah Almighty ordered a bird to come down after 1,000 years and take one grain and leave, it will take a very, very long time for the bird to pick all the grains. But indeed, there will be a time when there will be no grain left. But the life after death, the life in Akhirah, Jahannam, Jannah, is a life that will never end. Now, there's one very important question that should come to mind whilst studying verses that speak about dahran tawila, a very long time. As we know that a person should be rewarded or should be punished in proportion to the crime that he has committed. So if one person stole a book, he will not get life imprisonment, because the punishment is not in proportion to the crime that he committed. There will be a different penalty that will be imposed upon him. Now, one person, he lives for 60 years, and let's say he lives as a good person, and Allah Almighty says, you go to Jannah. Now, we have just established that life after death is unmeasurable. He is being rewarded a reward that is unmeasurable for an effort that is measurable. On the other hand, if one person lives for 60 years and he's a bad person, and he dies without iman, without faith, and he arrives in the Mubarak court of Allah Almighty says, you go to Jahannam, you go to An-Nar. Now, the punishment is unmeasurable, and the crime that he has committed is measurable. So how can unmeasurable be the reward and the punishment for something that is measurable? So the scholars, they have made mention that the reason behind it is the intention. Allahu Akbar. And that's why whenever we're doing something in life, we should check and recheck the intention. So we should revisit the intention behind the action. Because of a solid, a sound and a pure intention, the reward increases. And because of the rotten, the unhealthy intention, the crooked intention, the reward decreases. Indeed, the good effort of a person was measurable, but the intention behind it was unmeasurable. Meaning that he has an intention to be a believer, to die as a believer. He has the intention to do good, to please Allah Almighty. And if this life was unmeasurable, he will continue following the path that he has taken. He will not deviate from that. The intention is unmeasurable, and because of that intention, Allah Almighty grants him unmeasurable reward. He has the intention that if he lives forever, he will live as a Muslim. On the other hand, a person who dies, Allahumma mahfazna, who dies without faith, his intention is that if I am to live for another 30 years, 40 years, unmeasurable time, I will live this life. And because of that intention, he is going to be punished with an unmeasurable punishment. I was once speaking with a priest, And I said that this is the philosophy behind the reward and the punishment of people on the other side. What is your understanding? Why is a person punished in hellfire for eternity? And he said to me something that is his understanding, that when a person is thrown into hellfire, he says that because of the pain, they will curse Allah. Because of the pain, they will curse Allah. And because of that curse, they will not repent. And once they don't repent, they will remain in the fire. This was his understanding. But the understanding of the Muslim scholars is that the reward on the other side, or the punishment on the other side, is based upon the intention of a human being. So the mighty lesson that we extract from this verse is that whenever we do something, revisit the intention. And if the intention has become rotten to any level, unhealthy to any level, we should correct the intention. It is a matter of adjustment in the thought, in the mind, and then inshallah Allah Almighty will allow the reward to keep growing. It will blossom. It will grow from strength to strength. Next verse. لا يذوقون فيها بردا ولا شرابا. Nothing cool shall they taste therein, nor any drink. These verses, as I made mention in our previous lesson, are to make us aware of the punishment that Allah has created on the other side. And in mentioning that, there is mercy. So a person can avoid all those actions that will lead him to this punishment. As we know that the mother and the father, they say, child, don't go close to the stove because it is hot. You may burn yourself. Now if the child goes close to the stove and places his hand on the stove, he will burn himself. Likewise, Allah Almighty saying, this is the punishment. That is the punishment of this deed, of this wrongdoing. Don't go close to it. Don't go close to it. Now these verses should be listened to with that mindset. That these are certain things that Allah has created on the other side. They are horrible. They are very painful, unimaginable. But I have golden opportunity, the golden opportunity to make adjustments in life to avoid that kind of punishment. لا يذوقون فيها بردا ولا شرابا. Allah Almighty says, nothing cool shall they taste therein, nor any drink. When it is very hot, a person tries to find shade. In the Arab Peninsula, where the Quran descended upon Nabi Kareem Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it was intensely hot. And they used to find shade during daylight hours because of the heat. For them, shade, for them, fresh, clean, cool water was a great ni'mah. Allah Almighty is saying that they are going to be thrown into the fire. Fire is hot. A person wants to relieve himself, try to find shade, protection. Allah Almighty is saying that there will be nothing that is cool, meaning they will not find relief. And when a person is hot, one of the first things that come to mind, the body demands, is water. So we try to drink water to quench the thirst. Allah Almighty is saying there's going to be no water. No shade, no water. I would like to draw your attention to a verse from Surah Ghafir, and this is Surah number 40, and it is verse number 49. But before I recite the verse and translate it, let me draw your attention to something. If one person is working 7 days, if one person is working 7 days continuously, he gets no break. What does he say to his owner, to his master? He will say, please give me a break. Give me a break. And his master will say, I can't give you a break. So he goes back and he starts working. And when he becomes exhausted and he has nothing left in the tank, he goes back to the owner and he says that, can you give me some relaxation? All right, don't give me a break. I will come every day to work. But maybe one day from the 7 days, put less burden upon me. Put less burden upon me. Now there is a verse that projects that in the glorious Quran. So Surah number 40, verse number 49. Allah Almighty says, وَقَالَ الَّذِينَ فِي النَّارِ لِخَزَنَةِ جَهَنَّمَ ادْعُوا رَبَّكُمْ يُخَفِّفْ عَنَّا يَوْمًا مِّنَ الْعَذَابِ. Allahu Akbar. And those in the fire will say to the keepers of hell, call upon your Lord to lighten for us the torment for a day. They will realize that screaming, wailing, calling upon Allah Almighty is not working. As made mention in the Ahadith Mubarakah, they will call Allah Almighty, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Rabb, and Allah will not respond. Ajib. The situation in this life is very different than the situation in the life to come. A person may be disobedient all his life, and one day he will say, Ya Allah, and immediately Allah will respond. Immediately he says, Ya Allah, forgive me. Allah will forgive. On the other side, a person will call upon Allah Almighty continuously for an unmeasurable time, and Allah will not respond. Then this person will call upon the gatekeeper, the Malik, and he will say to the gatekeeper angel that we know that we are to remain in this place for eternity, but can there be a certain time where the adhab, the punishment, will become khafif, lighter? But that proposal that will be given by the inmates of hell will not be accepted. We should make dua continuously that we are protected from that punishment cell. Nabi Kareem Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said, a person who recites the following 7 times after Fajr and 7 times after Maghrib, Allah will protect him from the fire and what it contains. And what is that? Allahumma ajirna minan nar. O Allah, protect us from the fire of hell. Say this 7 times after Fajr. Say this 7 times after Maghrib. You can use the singular, Allahumma ajirni minan nar. O Allah, protect me from the fire. But if you use the plural verb, Allahumma ajirna minan nar, O Allah, protect us, you can make intention for others as well, for the entire ummah of Nabi Kareem Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Next verse, illa hamiman wa ghassaqa, except boiling water and dirty wound discharges. Now when a person is hot, he demands water. Water addresses the thirst, allows him to cool down, the body temperature to cool down. Now Allah Almighty in this verse says hamima. Water will be given to him, but it is boiling water. Allah, boiling water. The Quran makes mention yashwil wujuh. when this water is brought close to his face, the face will burn. Yashwil wujuh. Sometimes, there's steam that is coming out of the water, and if you put it close, if you place your head over the kettle, and the kettle is boiling, you can't keep your face there for too long, because the heat, the steam is intense. When a person will drink that water, and Allah protect every human being from being in that place, the steam that is going to come out of that water, the heat that emits from that water, yashwil wujuh, will burn the face. That is the external impact of that boiling water. But what is the internal impact? Allahu Akbar. فَقَطَّعَ أَمْعَاءَهُمْ. It will tear apart the intestines. It will have a very horrible, severe impact on the external, and it will have a very horrible, severe impact upon the internal. وَغَسَّاقَ, and dirty wound discharges. So basically, blood, pus, and discharges from the wounds of the inmates of hell is known as ghassaqa. This is what will be given to him to drink. Next verse, jaza'an wifaqa, an exact recompense. An exact recompense. All this that Allah Almighty makes mention of is a recompense for the actions that he committed to willingly. And that's why there are many verses in the glorious Quran in which Allah Almighty says, وَمَا رَبُّكَ بِظَلَّامٍ لِلْعَبِيدِ وَلَا يَظْلِمُ رَبُّكَ أَحَدًا. That Allah Almighty does not wrong anyone, because it is the sifat of Allah Almighty that He is adil, He is just. And a just, supreme being will not punish somebody without reason. There is going to be a reason. We may not comprehend the justice of Allah Almighty, and we may not be able to comprehend the mercy of Allah Almighty. But Allah Almighty is the creator, the maker, the designer of that human being. And He will not punish without reason. He may reward without reason. There are going to be many people that are going to be rewarded without reason. That they have said something in their entire life once, and because of that Allah rewards them. Because with the adl becomes justice. With the adl, with justice is attached rahmah, the generosity, the grace of Allah Almighty. One person, he comes to the court of a king, and he says a few words to praise the king. And the king in return gives him a bag full of coins. Now, the effort of that person is not in proportion to the reward that he has received from the king. Why? Because the king has given according to his standards, according to his generosity. So let me make this very clear. Punishment that will be given to a person, recompense, it will be in proportion to the crime. And many a times the reward that the inmates of Jannah will receive will be beyond the effort. It will be the grace, the generosity, the sakhawa of Allah Almighty. A recap of what we have discussed today in the lesson. We have studied 3 verses. Verse number 23, 24 and 25 and 26. 4 verses. The first verse, لَابِثِينَ فِيهَا أَحْقَابًا. We made mention that under this verse, Allah Almighty makes it very, very clear that the life that will be experienced by you and me on the other side is unmeasurable. Life in this world is measurable, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years, but on the other side it's unmeasurable. Meaning that if a person is in Jannah, life will not end. If a person is in Jahannam, life will not end. And the word used is ahqaba, that is the plural of hikba, and this means dahran tawila, a very long time. I made mention that Imam Ghazali says that if a bird was to come pick up one grain after 1,000 years, one day the earth will be empty from grain. But if we were to compare the time that it will take for the bird to pick all the grains, that is measurable. But the life to come is unmeasurable. Make the right choices, my dear brothers and sisters. Make a few adjustments in life. Make it your primary objective in life to please Allah Almighty. And one of the ways we can do that is before we say something, do something, consult with Allah Almighty. Think about it, is this the right thing that I'm saying, the right thing that I'm doing? Because it is not worth it that we enjoy for a couple of minutes and destroy the reward of eternity forever. The next verse is لا يذوقون فيها بردا ولا شرابا, that those people that will fail, they will not be granted coolness, no shade, ولا شرابا, and no drink. Drink that is desirable. Because in the next verse Allah Almighty says there will be a drink, إلا حميما وغساقا, it will be boiling water and pus. And no one likes to drink boiling water and pus. The characteristics of that boiling water is yashwil wujuh and faqatta'a am'a'ahum. It will burn the face and it will cut the intestines. And the last verse for today is jaza'an wifaqa, and this is an exact recompense. I made mention of a principle that Allah Almighty, He will reward a person according to His generosity, His grace, His standard. And that's why we will get more. But when it comes to punishment, Allah is adil. Allah will not punish anyone beyond what he has done. And that's why Allah Almighty says this is an exact recompense of what they did. And at the end, I would like to make mention that this is all based upon intention. And intention is unmeasurable. Allah Almighty allow each and everyone to experience prosperity in deen, prosperity in dunya, the best in this life and the best in the life to come. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
نور الهدى وفانا بحسنه حيانا نور الهدى وفانا